Stoners, welcome to another episode of the Turning Stones podcast. Today's episode, it's a real interesting one. We've always heard the term or the phrase Ponzi or a pyramid scheme, but a lot of us don't actually know what it's all about. So this episode, not only are we going to go through what is a Ponzi and or pyramid scheme, but we're also going to dive into some examples, where it originated, and obviously, I guess, it being illegal as well. So plenty of meat to this bone, and we're going to quickly get into it and start chewing the fat. First and foremost, before we do that, I mean, it'd be rude not to introduce my fellow co-host of the Turning Stones podcast, the great Sam. How you going, mate?
Yeah, Terry, brilliant. What about yourself?
Yeah, can't complain, Sam. It is April, so, we are getting closer towards winter here in Australia, but, the summer this year hasn't been too hot. For those of you that don't like the warm weather, I guess you've been blessed, but yeah, I'm not really a fan of the cold, but lucky I've got a few coats in the cupboard that'll sort me out right there, and of course a nice delicious cup of coffee as well. So
cheers, mate. Thank you.
Yeah, cheers to you on that one. You ripper. So interesting topic today, Sam. Thoughts before we get into it?
Pyramid schemes, Ponzi schemes, we've heard about it 1,000 times, and some people maybe not as well educated as others about these schemes, and may get caught into a few along the way. But we're here today just to give everyone a bit of background, like you said, Terry. Maybe a few ways to avoid getting tied up into these schemes, and things to look for as well before you sort of jump into investing some money into a bit of a speculative investment or whatever someone's trying to rope you into. But good topic today, Terry, and keen to get into this one.
100%. And guys, before we get stuck into it, just letting you know that we're on all major podcasting platforms, and that includes Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, and we also have a visual version of the podcast, or a vodcast, on YouTube. So plenty of avenues for you to sink your teeth into us. And of course, we're on the socials with Instagram and Twitter at TurnstonesPod. And just to enlighten the listeners, very, very shortly, we're going to be actually creating a online Instagram store, and that's where you can buy those mugs, so you can stop worrying about DMing us and us being a bit tardy in replying to those messages. You can just quickly go to the store and grab yourselves a beautiful, sturdy, tried and tested Turning Stones mugs. I mean, delicious. We're not using them here as we speak because I'm not in the studio. Sam is, but apparently they're all in the dishwasher.
Yeah, they're all in the dishwasher as usual, and the girl's not getting the job done in the kitchen, obviously.
Yeah, well, that's a bit unfortunate. But, look, put it this way. The fun thing is that before we even released them to the public, we tried and tested them for 5 weeks. We threw them in the dishwashers. We put so many hot liquids in there, and still they stand the test of time. All right, pyramid or Ponzi schemes. They're illegal. They're a risky get-rich scheme, and they end up costing you a lot of money. Sam, how does the scheme actually work?
Yes. All right. So, Terry, usually these pyramid schemes, they recruit members at seminars or home meetings or over the phone. They can also use emails or, posting social media on social media platforms, and sort of any kind of communication that can sort of get people, onto. I guess these days with social media, it makes it a lot easier as well, because, you can sort of
make groups,
share the word, make groups, make some fake profiles, and some that kind of stuff. It makes it, I think, easier these days, and not so much just a cold call from some random from Africa or something. Now obviously that's how they sort of get these members, but in a typical scheme or a pyramid scheme, you pay to join. So the scheme relies on you convincing other people to join up, and to part with their money as well. So basically, you're paying to join up. Say there'll be initial joining fee of $1,000 to join up with us, and then you sell our products or something like that along those lines. Now, in order for everyone in the scheme to make a profit, there needs to be an endless supply of new members. So this is where the pyramid kind of comes into play, because you've got your head, maybe the CEO or whatever the boss is of the.
Actually, technically speaking, Sam, the head of a pyramid, we could probably relate it to ancient Egypt and call him a pharaoh.
Yeah, well, that's right. The Pharaoh's on the top, and
Yep.
and then you got sort of your different tiers, and obviously, I think through these schemes, there's a lot of management tiers, and you sort of work your way up. I think they'll sort of sell it to you, but basically, you just working your way up the pyramid and sort of getting a bit more money from underneath you to be pushed up. So you sort of
Well,
just need.
the sooner you join, the higher up you'd be on that pyramid, because then
That's
you're
right.
hoping to get some more members below you, and anyone below you is pretty much giving you money in your pocket.
Yeah, exactly. That's right, and that's why they say there needs to be an endless supply of people joining and new members, because I mean, if it dries up, which it usually does, and usually there's a limited amount of people that are willing to join these things and outlay whatever cash it is to join. After that dries up, well, I mean, there's no more money coming in. They can't push it up the pyramid. So basically, the lower tiers, whoever's at the bottom and sort of just started, you're not going to make a lot of money if you're not getting these people underneath. So pretty much, yeah, like I said, you're going to pay your fee. That's going to go to someone else up the line, whoever signed you up, sort of thing. And that's how they make their money. And then obviously you're trying to do the same thing. You're joining other people, getting new members. They're paying you. You're taking, say, a 20% cut. They'll tell you, give you, yourself 20% cut. The rest goes back up the pyramid, up the top. So that's where that sort of, I guess, pyramid diagram, that you'll see typically of these schemes. It's all about just pushing the money up. And but yeah, like I said, eventually it dries up. It's not going to be, you're not going to get every single person in the world joining up. If you did, then I think a lot of people would get rich off of it. But unfortunately, when people start realizing that you're selling a product that's not very good, or it's not even a product, then you might be in a bit of trouble.
Definitely.
Now, some pyramid scheme promoters disguise their true purpose by introducing products, like I said, that are usually overpriced, poor quality. They're actually difficult to sell, or they are just small value items that are not really worth much. Making money out of recruitment is the main way they're making their money. It's not really selling the product. I mean, yeah, if you can sell these products that they're trying to sell, you can make some money out of it as well. But I guess the main thing is you're trying to recruit people, and they'll just keep pushing you to recruit people, because without that money coming in, they're not going to make a lot of money off of selling some cheap Chinese made thing that wasn't even, this product wasn't even actually developed to sell to a market properly. It was just some gimmick they come up with.
So technically speaking, Sam,
Yeah.
right, the real purpose of a Ponzi scheme or a pyramid scheme or this scam
Yes.
is not actually about the product and or service that they're creating it about. It's actually
right.
about obviously introducing the scheme to new members. It's all about the recruitment part of it is actually the big money maker, as opposed to the product or service they're actually promoting or selling.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, spot on.
So I guess until you can actually distinguish which sole purpose is actually making you the money, then you think to yourself, geez, what am I actually doing here now? Am I even selling this product, or am I just selling memberships?
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And that's probably one of the main red flags you should be looking for. Obviously, people with not a lot of sort of, I guess, business, business knowledge and things like that, they might not know even what's going on until, later on, years down the track, and even maybe once they've, given up on this so-called investment, they might not even know that they were involved in a Ponzi scheme.
Exactly.
Which, is pretty common.
But also the problem is as well with our generation, especially the Gen X and beyond, they love these get rich quick schemes.
Oh yeah.
Like anything that you can put your money into and then flip it in, say, a week or 2 weeks time, and then you make a bit of coin out of it.
Yeah.
They love that sort of stuff. But guess what? Any legal get rich scheme or investment strategy also accompanies high risk. So, like if we look at cryptocurrencies in a previous episode, yes, they fluctuate, ridiculously. They can go up 20, 30% in a 24-hour period, but they can also go down 20 or 30%. So if you're putting 10 grand in, you can make a quick 3 grand in a day, but you can also lose a quick 3 grand in a day. And if that continues for a 3-day period, guess what? You've actually got to zero.
Yeah, spot on. Exactly. And
high risk.
Yeah, high risk and I mean sometimes high reward, but sometimes you get absolutely nothing out of it, and that's usually the case with these pyramid schemes as well, Terry. Like we said, the promoters usually make the money out of having people join, and then pocket those fees, and you sort of get a commission based on how many people you get in. It's sort of just a bit of a trap to lure everyone in. And then when the scheme collapses, it can result in, relationships, friendships, and marriages breaking down. And because, people lose a lot of money, and sometimes these fees aren't, like I said, $1,000. It's sometimes, you need to invest $50,000 into this scheme. You need to invest $200,000 into this scheme. It's not always small value as well. So, I mean, if you've invested a lot of money and, say, your good mate has told you, oh yeah, join into this. It's really good. I'm making so much money. It's really good. Hey, yeah, right, you've invested your 200,000. You might be getting, I'm getting a return of $1,000 a week here. But I mean, if that $1,000 a week only lasts for 3 weeks and then the thing goes bust, well, there you go. You've lost the rest of your investment, and also your time, and I guess you might lose your relationship with your friend as well. So. It's very important that people sort of look into these things before they just jump in. And it is, like we said, it's against the law to participate or promote these schemes. So you might not even know it, like we said, but it is actually against the law in Australia to promote these schemes. Now, Terry,
it's crazy that it's against the law to participate in these sort of schemes, and you might not even know. So technically, without your knowledge, you could be an accessory to crime.
Yeah, exactly.
That's phenomenal, Sam.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, like I said, some people just might not have the smarts to actually pick up what's going on. And hey, there's nothing wrong with that. But I mean, I think as soon as you sort of get the hint, or someone might say, hey, do you reckon this might be a pyramid scheme? Maybe step back and think about that, and avoid getting yourself into trouble. Yeah, and with that, Terry, we've got a few warning signs as well. So why don't you just go through those to help people, look out for a few signs that they should avoid.
Not only do we incite here at Turning Stones Podcast, but we also prepare you for any future issues or, I guess, problems that you may occur or may arise in your life. So we can give you those warning signs, hopefully, before you ever encounter a situation like this. So warning signs or red flags, well, I guess the first and foremost, the big one would be you're offered a chance to join a group, a scheme, a program, or a team where you need to recruit new members to make new money. Seems a bit sus to me. The scheme involves offering goods or services of little or doubtful value that serves only to promote the scheme, such as information sheets. Those deadly little pamphlets there, they really could be quite troublesome for not only you but also for your fellow members too. Big upfront costs. So just to even get involved, you're going to have to part way with a fair bit of money there. So that's a pretty big red flag there. And also, the promoter makes a claim, this is not a pyramid scheme. This is totally legal. Well, if anything's legal, you don't usually include that disclaimer, do you, when you're sort of trying to promote people to join your group? So, I mean, already it's starting to stink. Of a pyramid Ponzi scheme. Also, Sam, actually now with hopefully we're in a bit of a post-COVID era where it's sort of the cases diminishing and also the deaths and that sort of stuff. A lot of people are still starting to work from home or introduce that sort of flexible working lifestyle because they got used to it and they actually thought, I can be quite productive doing this sort of stuff. There are actually now pyramid schemes that first and foremost start off as offering jobs. So like you can get sucked in where you're actually signing up for a work from home job where it's pretty similar to what you were previously doing, or it's something a little bit different. But the beauty of it is that you can work from home. Now this can be a bit of a scam because I mean, it depends what you're doing. Like, say you're in sales and you work from home, all you need is basically a headset and a microphone, just like what we got here. And all you're doing is cold calling people. That there in itself could potentially be a pyramid scheme. So do your due diligence, guys out there, and then before you actually accept any positions, right, ask for the company's marketing plan in writing, along with their info, their sales programs, and their contracts to see who you're actually selling to and what you're actually selling, and obviously the costs involved for not only you, but also for the customers as well. So, and I guess, if this particular business or organization that, could be your next employer sort of refuses to give you such information, I wouldn't sign up to that. And to me, it sounded like a bit more of a pyramid scheme, because, I mean, everyone doesn't mind the old, I can work from the desk at my own home, the comfort of my own home. Don't have to worry about wearing a suit and tie or having to fight the traffic in the mornings. I can do it all from my home. And all I have to do is just call random people and sell them this membership or this product and or service, and I'm making money. And so, and also, how are you getting paid as well? Is it is it heavily on commission based? Are you getting a retainer? Because that also can smell a bit more of a pyramid scheme if you don't even get a base salary. It's just depending on how much you sell. So just be careful, guys, and we're just giving you the warning flags and the warning signs and the red flags. So you heard it here from Turning Stones First. We're here to help, assist, inform, and incite, aren't we?
Oh, we are. And if anyone isn't sure if they're getting involved in a pyramid scheme, you can feel free to hit us up on the socials. We'll provide our own opinion. I mean, we're not providing financial services or financial advice by any
legal
stretch.
Advice.
Or legal advice, but we're happy to have a look at it for you. And we're both chartered accountants, Terry and I, so we got a bit of business knowledge, and I think we should be able to give you a hand if required. But not sure if we're going to charge for those services, Terry, but we'll see what happens.
Well, if they buy a mug, we'll probably give it to them for free.
So
we're no pissant bookkeepers or glorified accounting graduates. We're chartered accountants, all right? So we don't fuck around here.
Spot on.
We're the real deal.
Now, Terry, we've obviously been calling these scams or schemes pyramid or a Ponzi scheme. Now, Ponzi scheme is obviously a term that is obviously closely linked to a pyramid scheme. So we'll just give everyone a bit of a background as to where that name come from. Anyway,
what does Ponzi mean, Sam?
So the term Ponzi scheme was named after a swindler named Charles Ponzi back in 1919. So it's a long time ago. However, the first recorded instances of this sort of investment or scam can be traced back into the mid to late 1800s. So it's thought that this was going on a long time before, but this Charles Ponzi situation sort of gave a bit of a title to what we're talking about today. Now, Charles Ponzi's original scheme in 1919 was focused on the US Postal Service. The postal services at that time had developed international reply coupons that allowed a sender to pre-purchase postage and include it in their correspondence. So the receiver would take the coupon to a local post office and exchange it for priority airmail postage stamps needed to send a reply. So it's just a bit of a postal system, selling some products like that, and obviously, using the pyramid structure to get the job done hereafter, I think. This type of exchange is known as arbitrage, which is not an illegal practice, but Ponzi became greedy and expanded his efforts. So under the heading of his company, Securities Exchange Company, very inventive there. He promised returns of 50% in a 45-day period, 100% in 90 days, and a few other numbers that were thrown out there. Now, due to his success in the postal stamp scheme, investors were immediately attracted. So instead of actually investing the money, Ponzi just redistributed it and told investors they made a profit. So he was sort of like, he was successful with his postal services. I mean, it wasn't a scheme. It was actually a legitimate, sort of process that he was going through. But then he thought, if I can get people to give me money to join up, why can't I just get them to, continue this and just tell them, I'm going to give you X amount of return in 45 days if you give me, 50,000 up front. Yeah. And that's where this sort of stemmed from, the pyramid sort of structure, because again, it's just like he's telling you, all right, you give me this, I'll give you this return. He's just grabbing that, giving it to people underneath him, and so on and so forth. The scheme lasted until August of 1920. So again, these pyramid schemes aren't everlasting, and they don't last too long usually. This is when the Boston Post began investigating the Securities Exchange Company. As a result of the newspaper's investigation, Ponzi was arrested by federal authorities on August 12th, 1920, and charged with several counts of mail fraud. So,
oh wow.
He
essentially he was just shifting profits for sign-up fees, basically. So
yes, yeah.
He was saying, "Oh, you could make up to 50% return on your investment,
Yes.
and basically like within a certain amount of days." And so basically he was just hoping that a lot of people signed up, and then I guess the people that signed up the latest, he was just forwarding those money to the early investors and saying, "Look, you've already got your returns, 50%
and
right back straight away." And they're like, "Wow, this is working." And they tell new people, and then they tell the people that just joined recently, saying that I just got my money, so wait another few days and you'll get yours. And then hopefully the more and more people signed up, then the more he'd just start paying off. But eventually, if people stop signing up, it's going to dry up, and it's going to get quite messy. And it got quite messy for him on August 12th, 1920, when he got arrested. And just quickly, Sam, you mentioned the word arbitrage. So I just want to enlighten the listeners what that actually means. It's actually the simultaneous purchase and sale of the same asset in different markets. So a good example is, so let's just exclude this US Postal Service International Priority Air stamps, right? So essentially a way of arbitrage, which is actually quite legal, is say, for example, buying gold in Australia. And then of course, gold is an international commodity, right? So you can actually sell gold in other stock exchange or other financial markets across the world. So say if I bought gold in Australia, the Australia price, I would then, and I knew that after the exchange rate fluctuations and also, converting all that sort of stuff and weighing up the risk and all that, I could just then on-sell that into the New Zealand market, because I knew New Zealand's price of gold is slightly higher after exchange rate than Australia. So you're basically buying gold in Australia at Australia's gold commodity rate, and then selling at the New Zealand commodity rate, making a small profit. So obviously you have to do this in higher volumes to make a fair bit of money. But that's arbitrage. And as you mentioned just previously, it isn't illegal. So it's basically buying and selling the same asset, just in different markets.
There you go.
Just to enlighten the listeners there.
Perfect. Thank you, Terry. And that's exactly right. And obviously that sort of lured people in, because he was Charles Ponzi was pretty successful with that, and he obviously knew what he was doing. He was making some profits there. So as soon as people see a bit of money, they're going to be keen to jump in. And like you said, Terry, people just sort of sign up others, and that money goes up the chain. And I think even when people are getting these returns, the so-called returns of profit, I think they're also usually encouraged to reinvest that as well. I know that for a fact. Some of these modern day schemes definitely promote that, and definitely tell you, reinvest your profit, and you'll get even more return. And it's like, well, I think that's a big red flag there as well, because why would you want to reinvest? Like, why would someone want you to reinvest profits and say you're going to make even more money? All right, it makes sense if the actual company is doing well or something like that. But you got to think, well, if I'm chucking all this money in and I'm getting more people to chuck all this money in, well, what's going on here? Like, where is it all going? Like,
exactly.
It's there's got to be a bit of an end product there, or something shown on the out. If you're selling these products and then not worth $2, and you're selling a few of them, how's the company going to be making millions out of that? It's just,
I agree.
Yeah,
and
you
Sam,
got to
also
do some research.
We're also lucky. Of course, yes, Generation X is all about the get-rich-quick scheme, but we're also quite lucky and fortunate that we've been exposed to a lot of these. Like, we've seen a lot of these clickbait links on social media and other, even emails saying, promised returns of 50% in 45 days. Mate, I don't know if it's because we're chartered accountants or not, but, they're just too good to be true, and they usually are. Like, there's no asset class or investment that can give you 50% in 45 days.
No way,
unless, say, for example, you invest in a stock that goes up, but they didn't promise you that, did they?
No way. Yeah, that's right. No one's going to promise you that. Yeah.
Nah. So it's kind of, we're kind of desensitized to all this clickbait nonsense nowadays. And everyone's just trying to make a headline, whether it's a journalist or a Ponzi scheme pharaoh from a pyramid scheme. Like, they're just trying to suck you in. But, Charles Ponzi, very intelligent bloke to actually conjure up something like this, because it was probably the first of its kind back then in America. And also by actually delivering on his promised returns to the early investors is just another form of marketing for the scheme.
Yeah.
So
Exactly,
very, very
exactly.
intelligent. And I guess it could have worked for a long time. And, back then probably wouldn't have been that hard to sort of leave the country. I know
true.
Charles Ponzi is of Italian descent, so he could have got
Yeah.
quickly somehow jumped back on a boat and gone to Italy. The only problem would have been trying to exchange US dollars over there for some lira in Italy. But I mean, look, hey, kudos to him to think of something like that. But if I was the US government, I would have taken him under my wing and saying, look, you've conjured up something like that. Well, let's use geniusness to catch out some any more fraud going on in this country.
Yes, exactly, Terry, exactly. Now, that wasn't the first and it wasn't the last pyramid scheme of its kind, Terry. So what happened from there? What kind of schemes have we seen from there?
Yeah, good question. So I guess some later pyramid or Ponzi schemes. So after 1920, I guess technology changed and so did the schemes. They got a bit more sophisticated because obviously, as we all became desensitized these days to this clickbait and all these get rich quick schemes, the Ponzi or pyramid scheme had to develop just as everyone else is developing too. There was a big one in 2008 with Bernard Madoff. I'm not sure if Bernard was Bulgarian or not, but it sounds like a bit of a Bulgarian name. So he was convicted of running a Ponzi scheme that falsified trading reports to show a client was earning profit on investments that didn't exist. Jesus. Right. The scheme exploited thousands of investors and was estimated to be worth $65 billion, the biggest in history. So, Madoff is now serving a 150-year sentence in jail. And I guess, if we believe that we're going to be the first generation to be immortal, then I guess 150 years would be nothing for Bernard Madoff. But I think until we get a drug or a cure of death out there, 150-year sentence, he probably won't even serve half of that.
No.
Gone. So,
65 billion, Terry. 65 billion, not million. We're talking billions.
Yeah. Falsifying trading reports to show a client was earning a profit in investments. So I'm guessing somewhere along the lines he was selling an investment product or a scheme. And he was falsifying those reports saying actually it's profitable as opposed to it not being profitable. So,
that's right,
not only were his, I guess, members or those that have joined his group or team or scheme or program were being falsified on the profits, but they were actually losing money. And also, Sam, being chartered accountants and putting the accountant hat on, they were probably paying taxes on these profits too. Because, a lot of times, you don't actually receive the profits yet. You sort of leave them in the account, but you just pay tax on your profits. So then when you cash out, there's no tax consequence after that. So they could be potentially paying taxes on these book profits. And how messy that would have been with, with the tax department saying, oh, geez, we paid all these taxes on profits where we actually made losses. So how do we go about recouping the taxes paid? Do we amend prior year returns? Do we get credits for future year tax returns? It just becomes a really messy situation. And all up, the damage totaled $65 billion. Ridiculous.
Crazy. Yeah. And this, obviously 2008, this was around the time of the GFC as well. Just to point that out, which I think, it was, he was just exploiting people and I guess, people were making money out of both ways. I think when the GFC happened of 2007 and 8, and he obviously was promoting his investment portfolios and stuff that he sort of thought he was he was showing people that he was a genius with these fake profits and stuff. But obviously, turned out he was a big phony, and wow, that's still the biggest in history as well, Terry. Just to note.
Absolutely. Now, Sam, do they still exist? Surely.
Yes. Well, the short answer is yes. Unfortunately, yes, they do. And I don't think you're ever going to get rid of these schemes because, I mean, yes, they're illegal, but they're a bit of a grey area. So you can't really maybe predict that something's going to be a pyramid scheme. All right, it might look like one, but I mean, how the authority's going to actually look into every single business that's registered an ABN or something like that? They can't possibly do that before they actually start luring in these members and people into these schemes. So there's still thousands of these pyramid schemes reported every year, and many of them will probably go unreported as well. So we don't even know the exact number of schemes that are going on at the moment or every year. Now,
some people might think that the Turning Stones podcast is a Ponzi or pyramid scheme, but I mean, let's just clear up the air right here, right now, guys. We haven't offered you a sign-up fee. Our podcasts are for free. Yes. And, you continue to get some glorified content. So it's not of poor quality or little value. If anything, it's the exact opposite.
Yeah.
And yes, we're selling mugs, but I mean, that is one thing where, it does cost to produce. So shut your mouth about that one.
We're not asking for people to sign up as members of the Tony Stones podcast anyway. So, I mean, if you want to donate, hey, we'll take your money, but we're not going to.
But of course, follow us on the socials and subscribe to us on YouTube. It's not going to cost you a thing, and that's not a pyramid scheme. So clear that out of your head right here, right now.
That was actually a red flag there, Terry. You just said it's not a pyramid scheme.
Bloody hell.
So like we said earlier, in the modern day, these schemes have to sort of keep up with technology, and sort of, come up with different ideas rather than, maybe back in the postal service days and things like that. And they need to come up with new investments to sort of buy into. Now, the biggest probably investment that's sort of come to the top within the past, say, 5 years is cryptocurrency. Bitcoin has been, obviously plastered all over the tabloids, and people making millions and stuff over from this Bitcoin. If you bought Bitcoin 10 years ago, you'd be doing pretty well if you've held onto it. We have got an episode of about Bitcoin and crypto if you want to tune into that one, guys.
Great app.
Now, of course, people are making millions. On the news, they're always showing you the positives of when it booms, and of course, hey, no doubt, that's not fake news. That's legit. It's Bitcoin has gone nuts. But people want to sort of get in on the action, and not everyone knows how to get in on the action. So that's where this sort of gap has opened up for these scammers to sort of put dip their toes in the water there and sort of pick up some cash there from some just everyday people that sort of all right, they want to get invested into this new trend and new investment, but they just don't know how to. Some people, it's like, oh, I want to buy Bitcoin. How do I do it? You got to do it online. It's like, well, the older generation especially don't know how to sort of use that or don't understand the concepts behind it. Well, of course, where there's a bit of an opening, there's going to be
a gap in the market.
Yeah, gap in the market, and there's going to be someone to take advantage of that. Now, one of the most recent ones is a cryptocurrency, or so-called cryptocurrency, called Onecoin. So they claim to be a cryptocurrency. I mean, there's hundreds, if not thousands, of different cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin's not the only one. Bitcoin's obviously the one that gets all the publicity, but this is, sort of an investment that was saying it was going to be a coin on the market. It was going to go to the coin exchange. It was going to be listed on a stock market in some European country somewhere. I don't know. They made up stories. Anyway, they were telling.
Stinks already.
Yeah, exactly. And they were telling, these investors that it was going to be bigger than Bitcoin. And now that's pretty big comment to make, because Bitcoin's the big dog in that market, and they still are and probably still will be for a while the biggest
dog
cryptocurrency going around. So investors were lured in via seminars, and like we said earlier, if you look at the red flags, they usually they have these sort of sessions and things like that. Get some local venues to hold these things, and just sort of tell everyone how good this product is, and how much money you can make, and maybe just give them a bit of education. You say you tell them it's education, but you might be really just twisting the truth a bit. Give them a bit of background into cryptocurrency as well, and what it is, and then people sort of they think they understand what's going on in the market. They think they understand what they're investing in, and then they sort of get a false sense of I know exactly what I'm investing in, but really they don't have a lot of knowledge in the cryptocurrency space. And like I said, Terry, with this one especially, I know for a fact, a friend of mine who, he's got an acquaintance that sort of dumped a lot of money into this scheme, and this is firsthand, sort of news that we know it's definitely a scam because in the end it's starting to crumble now. And but yeah, these people are just everyday people that have just been lured in, and like many pyramid schemes, they were promised massive profits. I know these investors were told they were going to make tens of millions of euros
oh wow,
from these things, and you invest a few 100,000 of your own money, and it's like it's not a few thousand now, it's you're going pretty crazy. And of course these profits were never able to be realized. Now this Onecoin especially would provide coin holders with like the current market value of this investment. So it looks crazy, like they'd send you this thing. It'd be like a sort of maybe a dashboard looking thing, and it would say your Onecoin worth 50 million euro, and you're like, oh my god,
wow.
like I'm a billionaire. Like,
and of course that could be falsified, just similar to that Bernard Madoff case as well.
Exactly.
Like falsified trading reports showing earning a profit on investments. Anyone can manipulate a dashboard. And if you don't know what the true market value of the Onecoin is, like, is it in a liquid market? If not, then geez, bloody hell, like anyone can just change the value of that just to even promote investors. Then you can screenshot that and tell your mate, tell your brother, tell your family, saying, hey, look at this, mine's gone up already. Why don't you jump on board? And then you're like, make sure you use my coupon code to get a 10% discount on signing up, and then you get that 10% like as commission.
Exactly. Yeah, that's right. And it's just word of mouth from that point, and it just spreads like wildfire. And yeah, like I said, these profits were looking great, and people were thinking they're millionaires overnight, sort of thing. And the problem is though, like you can't actually, like you said, Terry, is it on a liquid sort of market? Well, the answer to that is a definite no, because it's not on a coin exchange. It's not on any kind of exchange at all. It's just I don't know, I guess it's just a number pulled out of the air, and they've just told you what it's worth. It's like, well, I mean, if you had a bit of background into investments and finance, you probably would have sort of picked that it wasn't legit, because I mean, hey, I can tell you something's worth X amount, but if you can't go to market with it and you can't sell it, then well, what is it worth? To me, it's probably worth nothing.
It's what someone's willing to pay. And first and foremost as well, Sam, before we even finish up on this particular case, and if others do exist as well, currencies, cryptocurrency, it's a currency, right? Yeah. Some people in the media, and of course the fake media will portray it as an asset, but now I'm starting to believe that it really actually truly is a currency, because you can actually buy things with it.
Yeah, it's true.
So I've never heard ever that a currency, yes, it can be an asset for investment purposes, but a currency will never ever promise you that it can make you money.
Yes, exactly.
It's just dependent on the value of other currencies and the foreign exchange difference. Yeah, whether you can buy it at one rate and then sell it back to another rate at another currency, and then make money with your local domestic currency. So, for example, if a Bitcoin's worth 10,000 Australian dollars, you buy one of them now, then in 10 months' time, it's worth 20,000 Australian. So then you sell that one Bitcoin, then you sell it for 20,000. You bought it for 10,000. So you've made that $10,000 difference.
Yes, exactly.
You've made a difference on the fluctuation of the exchange rate. A currency will never ever promise you profit. A currency is not even an organization or institution, really.
That's right.
Apart from a government creating it, they're not going to. There's no, I guess, brochure or pamphlet that's going to say, "Oh, these are the pros and cons of investing in our currency."
Yeah, exactly.
So it doesn't exist. It's a medium.
That's right, exactly. And you don't see you wouldn't see Bitcoin trying to promote their currency and trying to tell you to buy into it and telling you it's going to go up 50% over the next week, would you?
No way.
So that's where I guess sort of these flags are being raised, and I mean, like I said, this Onecoin situation, it was being pushed to people that sort of had limited knowledge, and they were promised the world. And this was an international scheme as well, Terry. It wasn't just in Australia. It was in Australia, Europe, Africa. Like, it was all over the place. And it was just sort of, obviously, everyone building on the hype of the cryptocurrency situation, and I guess that's why it sort of took off so much. And the promise that it's going to be better than Bitcoin and worth more than Bitcoin. Well, yeah, okay, that's all well and good, but if you can't, like I said, sell the coins, then well, you're not going to do much with it. Now, yeah, Onecoin, it actually, well, obviously, like I said, it proved that it wasn't real, and well, they proved in the end it wasn't real. There was a lot of investigations that happened, I think in the US mainly as well, because in the US it was a pretty big thing too. And the Department of Justice or someone, I don't know, whoever it was, exchange fraud, they were all looking into it, and they've sort of trying to get it to wrap it up and to stop people from losing their money, but it still does continue on as we speak, I think. And people are sort of in denial about. So, of course, some people that have invested money are in denial that it is a scam. But the facts are that a lot of the people high up in this company or organization or scam, or whatever you want to call it, have been jailed now in the US and are going to be facing trial. So I think that's enough to say that it was a scam, and there's still a few on the run as well, apparently, in Europe. So yeah, they're on the run from authorities. Well, I mean, why would they be if it was a legit investment? And once these people are sentenced, then I guess we can sort of close that chapter and understand that it was definitely a scam, and probably not the last one though, Terry. I guess that's the disappointing thing.
Just quickly as well, Sam. I guess people are going to say, all right, yeah, you've given us the warning signs and the red flags of what to watch out for in regards to a pyramid or Ponzi scheme. That's what the stoners would be asking themselves. But like, how do we go about doing our due diligence, they might ask? Well, the beauty now of today's technology is, first and foremost, it's as easy as just Googling the name of this potential program. Like Onecoin, I bet you if you Google that, and you scroll down the page, you maybe go to the news tab in Google. It might even say and have suggestions or articles saying it's a scam, or there's issues, or disgruntled investors and that sort of stuff. And if there's any inkling of bad news, click on the link and read it. Even if somehow Onecoin has managed to filter out Google, or maybe Google's in on it, managed to filter out some of the bad news or the negative articles on it. Just click on one of the two of them, read it, and just think to yourself, all right, so there's obviously some people writing this about it. Then obviously you've got those that are writing the benefits and the pros of this program as well. Then it's up to you to decide, obviously there's a bit of negativity around this particular program or scheme. Is that a risk I'm willing to take?
Yeah, exactly.
And then maybe just get a friend or family member as well, just to let them know, what do you think? Just ask for a second opinion. Because it's really important, and especially if the sign-up fees are in the tens of thousands of dollars, that's nothing you want to sneeze about. I mean, unless you're someone like a Bill Gates, where they probably spend about $10,000 in their aftershave, then I mean that's no issue whatsoever. But I mean, we don't want people losing money out there, because we all know that everyone works hard and toils and blood, sweat, and tears to earn their keep and put a bit of feed on the table. So
exactly.
Invest wisely, guys.
If you do, funny you say that, Terry, you Google Onecoin, it straight away comes up with a bit of a few articles here about scams and Ponzi schemes and things like that. So yeah, there you go. It could be as simple as just a Google search, and
there we go. Onecoin, story of the cryptocurrency that deceived the world. That's pretty much the third link if you just type in Onecoin.
Yeah, so I suppose that's all you probably need, wouldn't you, Terry? I don't know if you'd dig too much deeper into it after that, but it's as simple as a Google search sometimes. But sometimes people don't even think to do that, unfortunately, which is disappointing. Now, that is one of the largest ones that has been going on, pretty recently, Terry, and still sort of the story continues with that. Now, there are so many different Ponzi schemes and pyramid schemes that have, come up and disappeared over the years, Terry. There's a lot of things like they promote the sale of holiday packages, sporting tickets, cosmetics, and they really just pop up and just sort of disappear just as quickly as they do appear. Now, have you got any examples of some that you've sort of been exposed to?
Actually, I knew a lady friend a few years ago. I never got involved. It was just on my socials because I'm friends with her on social media. She was selling fat loss shakes or weight loss
Right.
shakes.
Okay.
And that was definitely a pyramid scheme where she was continually promoting to join the program, saying not only does this product work because I've lost weight on it, but also, you can make some money out of it too, guys. So join the program, sign up to the fee, and then not only will you get your introductory package, but you'll get all the merchandise, and then you also have the ability to then on-sell products. So you probably made a bit of commission out of the products, probably made a bit of a commission on the sign-up fee. So not only did you sign up to use the product, but you could also sign up as well. It was like a two birds, one stone. Sign up to sell the product too. So essentially, the best part of this marketing was you're promoting something that actually you've tried and it's worked. Whether it's worked or not, well, sometimes liquid diets, they do work, but they're a short-term solution because it's not sustainable. Someone can't exist on a liquid diet for the rest of their lives. So yeah, if you've gone from eating KFC and Oreos and Doritos flat out for for a few years, and then you go onto a liquid shake, you're probably going to drop a few kilos early on in the first couple of weeks. But then how long can you last on a liquid diet? That's what I thought. So, this particular female did lean up quite nicely. And look, I haven't really kept tabs on her, so she's probably blown out again. Oh, who knows? So, and I think, the quality of the product, well, how much rubbish is in these liquid shakes as well? Nothing beats a whole food nutritional diet. We're not going to go into the vegan or veggie space.
Not yet.
I mean, get your 2 and 5, get your animal products in you. Good, nice medium rare steak. You ripper, especially ones cooked on the bone. We love to get plenty of meat on that bone. But I mean, that was one particular scheme that I wasn't a part of, Sam. But I did see that with my own eyes. And the fact that she sold it fairly well, and the fact that she did it before and after photos too. So she was pretty. She wasn't embarrassed, and she was confident enough to show before and afters with this shake. That was like a advertising platform, and I think she got on one of the posts. She got over 500 likes and about comments saying, "Oh, that's really good. Where do I sign up?" And then a reply to that comment was like, "Oh, just click this link, babe." It was on from there. And maybe she got a fair bit of money out of it. Who knows? But that to me definitely seemed like a Ponzi scheme because really why you can just sell the product. Don't ask about, once you try this product, you can then on-sell it to people and make a bit of money at it. Don't promote that. Just promote if the product works or not.
Oh, spot on. Yeah, Terry. And I think most people will sort of have either a mate or an acquaintance or someone that sort of accidentally most of the time gets involved in these schemes and doesn't really know about it. An acquaintance of mine has sort of been involved in a couple, and I guess he doesn't really have the business smarts to know what's going on, and gets involved in these things where you got to sell these holiday packages, but then you got to sign up someone to for a membership as well, and it's like trying to push it to people that he knows and stuff. It's like I don't know, mate. You probably want to step back and see what's going on here. And of course, when he sort of initially joined, it was at one of those seminars and stuff. There's hundreds of people and they talk about it and this and that. So, I think some people maybe don't learn and just maybe don't have the smarts to know what a pyramid scheme is. And I guess sometimes it can be hard because there are legitimate commission-based jobs that you can do, and so that's where there might be a bit of confusion because people get confused with commission-based sales rather than this pyramid sort of structure where you're getting members and stuff to sign up. It's a bit of a different structure, but like I said, Terry, do diligence before you get involved. And now
it's like a car salesman, really. People think, why isn't that a pyramid scheme? Well, it's not, because you're not asking them to sign up to the membership of your dealership.
Right. No,
you're not asking them to sign up as a member, and then also you are selling a legitimate product.
That's right,
which is being the car. And then after that, you're not telling them to on-sell that car for a bit of profit or anything like that.
Exactly,
so that's a legitimate transaction, and that's one of the I guess services or jobs out there that are actually not all of them are commission based. Like so a good portion of them are, but they still get their base salary too.
Exactly.
It's just when you don't have the base salary, and then it's sometimes a bit too good to be true. Then that raises a few red flags, and just do due diligence. Timeshares as well, quickly, Sam.
Yes, yeah.
They're a bit of a scam too. Potentially doesn't fit under the definition of a pyramid scheme, but there's a really highly likelihood that they can fall through, and especially if you're buying a timeshare and say a holiday home that hasn't even been built yet. That's a red flag for me, because what's stopping the developers or the constructors for just running away with your money?
Exactly. Yeah.
With that timeshare, so you have ownership of the property for a particular period of time in every year. Whether you choose to reside in that property during that time or then on-sell that and lease that out. But then what are you leasing?
That's right. And where's the ownership there? Like, who's on the title? And exactly. It's weird. I guess you don't really think of that when you sort of propose with a, I don't know, 8 week, a year, holiday in the Gold Coast or something, or wherever you want.
Beachfront in Hawaii, right?
Yeah.
In Oahu, in Hawaii, the main island, and you've got a 2 week beachfront home. Yeah. That's all yours. So every year you can go for 2 weeks and stay there.
There you go.
Right?
Yeah.
But do you have ownership to the property? Imagine you rock up, you're like, no, you're not at the title.
Yeah.
You're actually trespassing.
Yeah, exactly.
And you show them this big coupon from a timeshare you bought for like 10 grand. You think, it's 2 weeks for the rest of my life every year. I get to go to Hawaii.
Yeah, exactly. Sounds good, but I don't know. Yeah, you're spot on, Terry. And yeah, on that, we'll obviously before we wrap things up, we just want to give the listeners a bit of advice here that how to protect yourself from pyramid schemes, Terry.
Yes, we will.
Yes. Do you want to go through that?
Yeah, please. Can I?
Yeah, go for it. I'd love you to.
How to protect yourself from a pyramid scheme. So we've given you the warning signs and red flags, but we're also going to give you some protection, and not the bedroom protection, but the pyramid scheme protection. So just to avoid you confronting a pharaoh. So don't let anyone pressure you into making decisions about money or investments, right? Unless they're a financial advisor that you've engaged and you've got an engagement letter with them. Don't let anyone pressure you, because otherwise it's just hearsay and it's just pretty much pub talk where, if someone's consumed a few pints of beers, then usually they're full of shit. Always get independent financial advice, guys. Unless, you've done your own research. And as we keep saying in this episode, do diligence. So, it's a fun word to say. Is it due or do diligence?
Oh, yeah. Due. Tomato, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Be wary of schemes or products that claim a guaranteed income.
Very important.
Unless the product is, say, a debt security.
Oh, yeah.
Debt security will give you guaranteed income, unless obviously the loanee has defaulted. So a debt security is basically you lending money to someone, and they're obligated by the contract of the debt arrangement to pay you interest, whether it's annually or, whether it's at the maturity of the debt or even quarterly, that guarantees you income. But be wary of other schemes or products where you just you're a member, or you've just got an ownership interest in it, and it gives you guaranteed income, because not many things in life that are guaranteed apart from death and taxes at this stage.
Exactly.
So just be careful about that one. Consider whether the rewards you've been promised are dependent on product sales too. So if you have to do a bit of work on top of the membership that you've paid, or on top of the sign-up fee that you've paid, if you have to do extra work to get some more money, or if it's dependent on that on-selling of this particular membership product. So that's one to watch out for. And also the real products or services that you are selling, are they a realistic market value, sold at a reasonable market price, or is it something that actually the consumers really demand? So sometimes you could be selling something that's overpriced, or something could be selling that's actually not needed whatsoever, but you're manipulating people's heads, or you're actually capitalizing on gullible people that are just signing up. Because there's a lot of gullible people out there, a lot of people that just impulse buy. You don't sell something that's at an unreasonable price, or that's not in demand, sort of influencing consumers and or potential scheme members. Remember that family members and friends may try to involve you in a pyramid scheme. So, sometimes your closest family member or relative, or even spouse, could be sucking you into it. Or not just getting you involved, but getting your mates involved.
Yes.
So not you directly, but your other close family or friends, they could be getting involved as well. So even as close as someone that you may sleep with in bed could be sucking you in. So yeah.
And they might not even realize that's the key point as well. They might not even realize that they are involving you in the scheme or that they're involved in the pyramid scheme. They might think it's legit. So that's where I guess a bit of a bit of caution needs to be taken there, and maybe a bit of consideration. But yeah.
That's where that protein and weight loss, fat loss shakes were, I think, the particular female in question, she didn't know there was a pyramid or Ponzi scheme because it was working for her. And she thought, let me share my results on this product to the world and tell them that I've actually made some money out of this too by selling these products. And also anyone else that wants to sell these products because I know it works can make some money too. But then, so she's probably innocently thinking, I've made some money out of it. I've lost weight. Life is bloody good.
That's good. Yeah.
So
true.
Fairly innocent on both parties too. That's the dangerous part too, as well, Sam. And lastly, it's against the law not only to promote a pyramid scheme, but to participate in one. So as we said, that sometimes you might not even know if you're participating or not. But if you are, well, you're already doing something illegal. And if you're not, well, you actually are still doing something illegal. So be wary. Due diligence, guys. It's massive. That's what this episode's all about. Just be careful with what you do about your money.
Exactly.
Where you invest it. And before we leave, Sam, there's always fun facts on Turning Stones. And I'm just going to give you some fun facts about actual Charles Ponzi. So I've got 5 here. Charles Ponzi arrived in the US with $2.50 US in his pocket.
Oh, wow. There you go.
So he was actually born in Lugo, Italy in 1882.
Oh, wow.
He actually studied at the University of Roma La Sapienza.
Oh, nice.
Roma La Sapienza, so the university there. So he obviously had some sort of smarts. Charles Ponzi actually spent some time in prison before his famous scheme. So he was a bit of a dodgy type operator. After arriving in Boston, he moved to Canada and got in trouble for forging checks. So he already tried to outsmart the government from an early age and early in the system. Obviously, he got rich off the postal system, so we know about that. He's obviously swindled $20 million from investors. And Charles Ponzi didn't actually invent the Ponzi scheme, although it was named after him. This type of scam was long existent prior to him actually creating the US Ponzi scheme. Charles Dickens even wrote a pre-Ponzi scheme into his 1857 novel, Little Dorrit. So someone writing a fiction novel about a scheme probably would have made for good reading back in the day. And you would have thought, I'm looking forward to this twist and turn in the story. But then not only did that story inspire others, but it also became reality, and it still is to this day. So nice. They've been around for a while, Sam, and they continue to be around. But guess what? They're developing, and they're sort of, I guess they're becoming a lot more sophisticated than they once were, and they have to be because people are becoming a bit more desensitized to the whole get rich quick scheme. So I guess that's it for us today, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you for sharing your wisdom. And thank you to the stoners for
thank you,
sticking with us. And hopefully you've become a bit more enlightened. And also you're a bit more aware. So you've gotten those peripherals a bit more wide out there and just to look out and see what stinks. And if something's too good to be true, then it probably is, guys. But get your financial advice. Be careful and cautious with where you spend your money. And do your due diligence.